So Joe Tessitore told us at the start of Raw that in our main event it's going to be Nia Jax versus Bianca Belair to decide who's going to have the advantage in the women's war game match. That's right, I just said advantage, but the best bit is that Joey then went, and by the way, all the other competitors are banned from ringside. I was like, wait a minute, if that is a rule that we are enforcing, why don't we enforce that for all the matches? And then maybe you wouldn't get shenanigans. So it just means WWE is totally to blame. Then we saw other people arriving at the arena. I kid you not. 80% of them were wearing sunglasses, even though it's essentially December. Also, hello, my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs. It is I, Simon Miller, the Progress Pro East champion. There's two things I need to talk about in regards to that. I had my first successful defense on Sunday that you can watch right now on Triller or Demand Progress. That's 1-0. Goldberg, I'm coming from your streak. And look, I made a ridiculous t-shirt too. It says, Simon Miller, the People's Progress Champion, because I'm just that kind of a guy. And you can buy it on ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. So if you think I am running this into the ground, you will be totally correct. But hey, I just said the word down, and I'm Mr. Ups and Downs. That's the worst segue I'll ever say in my life. As it is Survivor Series this weekend too, bam! Here came Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, WWE were very mean because they showed the footage from last week's Raw when Damian Priest whooped his ass, when Jackie Redmond just went, hey, old Gunthy boy, you have sucked ever since Cody Rhodes beat you. Now, the ring general had nothing to say, so he is most definitely not the word general. And Damian Priest must have been watching from the back and gone, this guy can't even speak. Why don't I go out there and kick him when he's down? Now, he told Jackie to give the mic to Gunther to see if he had grown some balls. And I was like, Damian, that's not how it works. You can't grow testicles in 7 days. Do you not remember biology? It's going to take a while. Priest then said the reason that Gunther is being silent is that he's trying to convince everyone that the old Gunther is back. But Damo knows the real deal. You have lost your confidence, my friend, which is going to suck for you when we get to the Survivor Series. And sure, Gunther has achieved a lot in his life, but he's never had a problem like Damian Priest before. It's when I put my hand up, I can't help it. I was like, Damian Priest, you know that's not true. You fought at SummerSlam. I want to be that guy, but you lost. Still, if Priest does beat him, what the hell is Gunthy boy going to do then? Because it will mean he got defeated by somebody from the streets. At first I was like, oh, maybe he means Oscar the Grouch. Then I realized he was talking about himself. The whole time Gunther could not find the words though, because again his confidence is in the toilet, which is when he was like, well, why don't I keep this simple, stupid? And he took his microphone and he smacked Damian Priest right in the head. That'll do it. Sadly, it wasn't meant to be, though, because when he tried to throw Priest through Alan the announce table, he switched it, and he grabbed Gunther, and he got razor edge through the thing. So that's it. Gunther is dead. Priest then posed with the belt, and look, WWE has been so smart here, because deep down in our Tootsie Toes, everybody knows that Gunther is not going to lose his championship. So what we have done is we've gone, let's just give Damian Priest everything in the build, and then maybe we can get that special 1% of doubt. And yes, of course, it's not going to happen, but look and feel the vibe here. When we do come out of the pay-per-view, premium live event, I think Damian can use this and ride it and continue his momentum onwards. Let's face it, he's been really damn good. So just giving him this freedom has allowed him to double down on this babyface run. And now he feels like one of the best good guys in the company. So this is doing some good business. And I'll always enjoy the match. Those two know what they're doing. Let's gang it up. Bianca Belair was then hanging out with Naomi backstage because screw the brand split. They were like, man, Jade Cargill may be out for a while with an injury. I was like, well, of course she will be. Somebody threw her into a car. Now, apparently this is a legit injury too, so I just want to send all the best to Jade. Like, there's no good time to get hurt, but just before the time of the year and the Royal Rumble and maybe WrestleMania, well, that really sucks. So I hope she's okay. Naomi then did the maths and realized, wait a minute, that means we need an extra member for War Games now. And listen, dudes, I got a calculator and I did the maths too. And she's right, now they've only got 4. Now Io Sky, who was right off camera, which is a bit strange, walked in and said, well, why don't we choose Kairi Sane? But Bianca obviously didn't want to do this because she remembers she's no fool. She was like, I think 1 damage control member is enough. Because when you were bad guys, you continually murked me. Naomi then suggested Bayley, and obviously Bianca Belair had a meltdown about that when Rhea Ripley walked in. Man, she doesn't care about anyone or anything. She just wants to beat up Liv Morgan. Now, Belair thought this was really dumb, because way to think about the team, dingus. But I tell you, this must have been a tease, because Bianca Belair was looking at Rhea, and Rhea was kind of looking at Bianca, but she has that mask on, and I would just do this at WrestleMania. We know those two have great chemistry. Let them cook. When we got a tornado tag team match. Why not? But it was the Creeds versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and WWE has kind of fallen into 50-50 booking here. It's like, you win, then we'll win, then our Nan will be here, she'll bake us some bread, and she'll win too. But the bottom line is that Julius and Brutus needed a win, and that's what they got. Dragon Lee must have been studying his Mario tapes as well, because he was going to go for a stomp. But clearly, Julius isn't into Nintendo games, because he stopped this, and he pinged up to the top of Tina the turnbuckle, and he hit this superplex. My gosh, it was good. Julius was going nuts as well, because he then stopped Rey from hitting the 619 when he just busted out a 450. I was like, are you just going through the wrestling move book and hitting everything? Because it's slightly unfair. Dragon was then back hitting a tornado DDT in a tornado match when Brutus put a stop to that. And just when the Creeds were going to do something, Rey was like, I'm not going to let you do anything. When finally Lee lived his Nintendo dreams and he hit the double stomp. So he was Mario and Luigi. Brutus then stopped another 619, which made me laugh, because Mysterio was spamming these, so I thought somebody must have been playing him in a video game, when he sort of like pushed Brutus out the way, but this dickhead must have been planning this for a while. He kind of went into the referee, but he didn't go into the referee, or at least he didn't have to, but he was trying to create shenanigans. It meant that Chad Gable teleported in from nowhere. Seriously. I almost died, because the second part of their plan was, and they must have discussed this backstage and gone, wait a minute, if we can turn Rey Mysterio's mask around, hot damn it, he won't be able to see. Now, I love the fact they felt like they had to do this behind the referee's back, because a disqualification for mucking around with the mask would be the greatest thing ever. But damn it, it worked. Because Julius Creed then ran in and he hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, and he got the 3 over Rey Mysterio. That's a big deal. It's also huge for American Made, because of course recently it has just been lose, 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 lose. And they sold this like they had won the lottery. So let's continue to put our building blocks in place. Now, there are just way too many distractions in WWE at the moment, but we'll talk about that later. Let's get it up. We then got reminded about everything on SmackDown with CM Punk and Paul Heyman, and got told that Cody Rhodes is going to be on the Jimmy Fallon show this week, when we cut to the Judgment Day. Now, Liv was clearly terrified about War Games, but Finn Balor tried to calm her down, and all of a sudden, R-Truth was here, and I can't lie, I wasn't expecting that. It made me laugh, and after Finn Balor yelled at him, Truthus went, fine, Thanksgiving is cancelled. That man is the best. It really wound up Finn, though, because he then got really aggressive with Liv Morgan, was like, listen, I understand you're having a problem with this, but come the weekend, you better go out there and win War Games. He also made it clear he didn't like Dominic Mysterio much either, and he looked at Carlito when he just settled his nerves. He was like, look, at least you did beat up the War Raiders next week, which means later we can whip their ass. It means Finn believes there's going to be victories all round for the Day of Judgment, and you can just smell it in the air. They are probably going to break up in the next few months, but it is time. And what a great 2024 they had. Balor was then about to say something else, but JD McDonagh calmed him down, because that's what friends were for. I think he was going to put his foot in it. So give it a couple of weeks, and he's probably going to do it anyway. When... My gosh. Because after they had scrapped last week, it was Bron Breakker versus Ludwig Kaiser in a non-intercontinental title match. And surprise, surprise, this was just brilliant and almost a glimpse into the future of WWE's main event scene. But I don't want to talk about none of it apart from one event. Because when they had fallen out the ring and Ludwig Kaiser was all wibbly-jibbly, Bron decided, I'm going to do my run around the ring spear and I'm going to kill you. And he must have been going at like 80 miles an hour, obviously I'm exaggerating, when Ludwig got out the way and Bron threw himself into Alan the announce table. Now, he didn't stop, he didn't calm down, he hit this at full force, and I don't know how he didn't die, but it is one of the most incredible things I've seen in years. He then did get beaten up for a little while, but then he hit Kaiser with the Frankensteiner. Although, when he went for another spear, Ludwig booted him right in the face. I was like, man, I could watch these two fight forever, or for the allocated amount of minutes they've been given on Raw. Sadly, Ludwig then made a terrible decision because he left the ring, so clearly nobody has clued him up about wrestling, because this is when Shane was like, mate, I've been watching you. He attacked, and the referee had to call for the disqualification. Yes, that's a little bit stupid, but actually it does make sense. Braun eventually walked out to him as well, and they started to get into it because Breakker was like, why are you getting involved? And they had such a big brawl, and Pierce walked to the ring, and he had a meltdown too, and eventually said, fine, if you guys want to fight, you can do it at a triple threat match at Survivor Series for the IC title. And if that is not good, I will, just turn myself into a pigeon. I don't know what that means, and I can't actually do that, but that's how confident I am this is going to be great. But yeah, going back to that DQ, once again, WWE is over-relying on these kind of things, but look at it from Sheamus' point of view. If somebody had got involved in your match, which did happen a week ago, you would say, well, fine, I'm going to do it too, because I'm a petty professional wrestler. Now, why he decided to wait 8 minutes, I don't know, but we all know the answer. The answer is wrestling, but this is absolutely getting him up. Sometimes when I think about it, the Intercontinental title scene may be my favorite. We had more videos about the Bloodline after this, because it was time to go and talk to Sami Zayn and the Usos. And they admitted they were totally shocked what did happen on SmackDown, because they didn't expect Paul Heyman or CM Punk. And this Sami Zayn man, I don't think he's massively into this. Because he mentioned that CM Punk is a complicated guy, and they do have a history together, as do CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Which means come this Friday, they're all going to have a big conversation, because why the hell would we do it now? Now, I think Sami made it clear that he didn't trust this guy, but do you know who was a little bit over the top about all of this? Jimmy Uso. He was like, man, he's the wise man. He wouldn't bring in CM Punk if he didn't know what was going on. So I'm convinced now, I've gone full wrestling nerd. I think Jimbo and Paul, well, they're not part of the OG Bloodline at all. And maybe they've actually hitched their wagon to Solo. Dun, dun, dun. Jay then promised to beat Jacob Fatu so Bloodline OG would have the advantage in the War Games match. Look, I would tell you this now, if I was going to predict it, I don't think that's going to happen. This was just such good teasing though, and I cannot wait to see what is going to go down. When it was the Judgment Day taking on the War Raiders for the tag team titles, Finn Bálor and JD McDonagh won. I was not expecting that. And the War Raiders should be totally pissed, because they were doing really well when they got hit by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. So when we did come back from the adverts, the Judgment Day were just in control. Maybe Finn went, you used to be Vikings, you idiots. They got sad and punched in the face. These two Poindexters also went after Eric's neck, and of course he was out for ages with a broken neck, and they even hit a neck breaker. So, that's it, he's got to be dead. Thankfully, Ivar had a plan, and he made sure he warmed up his hand, and as soon as the smoke was coming off his palm, Eric spotted that. He did the slap hot tag. They murdered JD before Eric made sure he took his med pack so they could do a double team, and that would have been it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Or the fact that Finn Bálor broke it up at 2. Of course, Dominic and Carlito are then here, because despite them doing this every single week, nobody decided to ban them. That meant the War Raiders was like, oh, well, now we've got to come over there and beat you up instead. They then still had the match won after the War Machine finishing maneuver, but Dom grabbed Finn Balor's foot, or JD McDonagh's foot, I can't remember who it was now, and put it on the ropes. Now, thankfully, the ref did see this and go, you have to leave now, Mysterio. But one, they'd already been screwed, and two, the condom just went, no, I don't want to do it. So he didn't. It meant that once again, Eric and Ivar had to go after them, and the referee didn't know what was going on, and he was just spinning around like Kylie Minogue, which is when Finn Balor remembered, wait a minute, human beings have penises. Because he ran Eric right into the ropes on his special devices when he hit the most devastating move. In all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, he did get the 1, 2, 3. Still your champions. Now I'm going to give that an instant down because we do not need 2 surprise roll-ups on the same show, but also I drag in the other points I have been making throughout this video. WWE's gone way too crazy with all the outside stuff, to the point now I expect it, and you never want that. You want it to be a surprise, and I understand it does work, but now it just feels a little bit like a crutch. I also did enjoy the match as well, but I cannot get away from this geek side of me. I kind of feel like we should have picked a Raw, put this in the main event, and given the belt to the War Raiders. Now, I still think that's going to happen, but maybe this was the time. So once again, they are all super talented, but I'm going to reserve my up here, and I'm going to keep it back because, again, This one just kind of went off the rails a little bit. And as a fan, watching from a story point of view, I wanted to see the title change. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. Once again, that's just how my heart beat on this certain occasion. Good grief, I need sleep, because what the hell does that even mean? Well, I'll tell you why. It's a terrible segment in reference to my beating device. So we then got told next week it is going to be the anniversary of the New Day, the decade celebration. Well, I don't think it's going to be a very fun time. And that is because we did see Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and they were all G'd up because they were about to go out to the ring and have a match, which they were definitely going to win. To say it quietly, they actually lost. And that's because they were taking on the Alpha Academy, but as soon as the bell rang, Mum and Dad just fell out. Like Kofi Kingston wanted to start the match, but Xavier Woods wanted to start the match, and eventually Kofi was like, look, I'm going to do it, when instantly Woods tagged himself in. And Kingston was not happy. It went terrible as well because Otis then popped Xavier in the head when Tozawa hit a senton, and in around about 42.3 seconds, he pinned him. Not gonna lie to you, I couldn't believe it. The real meat and bones happened afterwards though, because these two started arguing in the ring, and as they walked to the back, it continued. When they did get into this nice cove, my gosh, it became unhinged. Now you really have to go and watch this because Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were brilliant here. And Kofi even said to Xavier, this is why we never gave you the ball. This is why we never made you the captain, because you take too many unnecessary risks. And now look at it, we just lost. Woods then fired back saying, no, your problem is you never take risks, because don't forget, I had to drag you into this group, because at the time you did join, your career was going nowhere. Shots fired. Without that as well, Kofi never would have become the WWE champion. Oh, by the way, what did you do with that opportunity? You lost to Brock Lesnar in 6 seconds. This is honestly what I was doing. It looks like I'm tap dancing. I was actually freaking out. It then looked like they were about to fight, but Woods went Britney Spears because he did it again. It's like, Kofi, you're not going to do anything because you never do. Woods then stormed off saying, see you at the anniversary. And man, Christmas is going to suck. Once again, Mum and Dad just split up. It really is brilliant though, because now look at the options we have on the table for next week. 1, Big E somehow is cleared and he makes his big return as we all cry. 2, Big E still comes back but as a manager, that would be fun. Or 3, the New Day are gonna break up and feud. I mean, talk about running the gambit here, because I'm either gonna feel super warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, or I'm going to have water coming out of my seeing devices. This was so great though, and I'm just so happy these two are finally allowed to show their chops. You don't hang around in WWE for a decade by a fluke. It's because they're so damn talented, and if we do this right, it could be the best thing they ever do. So I'm just so pleased they're getting some proper material. Honestly, if the whole point of watching wrestling television is to get a payoff and see what happens, well, this was the best damn thing on the show. It's getting it up. When The Miz freaked out, because he had seen the Wyatts outside. And I was like, Miz, you are such a wonderful wuss. Now, Karrion Kross didn't care because he was like, yes, but the point is, did they see you? And when The Miz said no, Karen was like, ha ha, now I've got a plan. I do have to say this. Kross and The Miz together, well, that's a good sandwich. He also basically told Miz to grow a pair, and I was like, well, you can actually go talk to Damian Priest because he thinks you can do that within 1 week. And Karrion also told Scarlett, look, you stay in the back here while we go take care of business. This is when WWE went all WCW, because Scarlett looked in a mirror and she was able to see Nikki Cross. Now, it wasn't actually the same, because when World Championship Wrestling did this with Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Hogan thought he saw Warrior in the mirror, and Eric Bischoff was like, you're crazy, man. But of course, we, the viewer at home, could see the Warrior, meaning Hogan wasn't crazy, and Eric Bischoff was nuts, because he couldn't see the Warrior. It wasn't that bad. It was just spooky wooky, but I couldn't help but think about it. Hilariously, they couldn't find the Wyatts at all, though, and instead they ran into Pete Dunne. They were like, Pete, have you seen the Wyatts? He said no. So Pete said, have you seen R-Truth? And they said no. It's like, what a waste of time. I mean, really, they should have been like the Mystery Inc. gang here, where teamed up, but they decided not to do that. And when Karrion Kross got back to his locker room, the whole place had been ransacked, and Scarlett was so freaked out, well, she attacked Karrion because she was scared. She also then started to scream, Nikki Cross did this, when the camera cut to the mirror, and somebody had written something on there, and it said, everybody has something to lose. That's true. Look at my skull, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fact. I just thought this was so damn good though, and yes, it's over the top and a little bit hokey, and of course spooky wooky, but Scarlett sold it brilliantly. When I search my feelings, I'm like, I'll take Nikki Cross versus Scarlett. That's like fresh bread, well that means, but it's totally new. It also gives you something totally different on the show. When it comes to Karrion Kross and The Miz, they are throwing themselves into this with such aplomb. It's just sports entertainment. Sometimes I like me some sports entertainment. It's absolutely getting it up. When we went and did it again, I find this a bit hard. So on the one hand, it's awesome, but on the other, it's a bit confusing. Because from nowhere, the commentators just went, you should hear what Adam Pearce said before the start of Raw. And it was Adam in the ring going, hey, you know what? I am happy to introduce to you the brand new Women's Intercontinental title. Now, I'm never going to get mad at this because it is so overdue. But you know me, I'm still the same old G. And when it comes to championships in all wrestling promotions, I think less is more. And depending on the level we're talking about, we should just have one belt. But that is not what WWE does. So if we are going to have a Women's US title, we absolutely need a WWE Intercontinental title. I just think it's a little bit of a shame, and it's not that important that we didn't build it into a massive story. I think we could have had a lot of fun with that. There's also the fact that the women's roster right now isn't as stacked as it needs to be. But look at NXT, man. If you do this right within 6 months, you're going to have plenty of contenders for both. It is going to come down to a tournament as well. And listen, we have picked Chelsea Green over on SmackDown. So if we are going to do one for Raw, well, I actually think I would like Io Sky to get the nod. I don't know why, but I just think she has the chops to make that title important, and that means the world. So Lasakara was then super excited because he knows that Bloodline 2.0 are going to have the advantage when it comes to the War Games. When Nia Jax was here, brand split be damned. Tiffany Stratton, Liv, Raquel, and Candice LeRae had also joined her, and Nia was just so happy. She's like, not only am I about to win us the advantage, but those goofs don't even have a fifth person, so don't worry, my friends. We are going to win at the Survivor Series. Turns out she was totally wrong, but Nia went and did it again, as did Bianca Belair. They had a really fun match. And Nia made me laugh out loud, because as soon as she was in trouble, she was like, screw this. And she grabbed Bianca Belair, she just hurled her into barricade. I don't know why I'm laughing, it looked quite brutal. She also rolled out the way of a moonsault when Belair tried to get back into this, so she smart and just crushed her head with a big leg drop. When Bianca Belair reversed the tables, and she hit the moonsault, but that didn't work. I was like, Bianca, maybe don't try that again. She then continued this because when Jax went for the Annihilator, Bianca used her positioning to hit this mad German suplex. And look, once again, all the love to Jade Cargill, but I think we should take the tag team titles off Bianca Belair and just put her back in the singles division. I mean, she really is too good. Of course, during that melee too, Tina the Turnbuckle got exposed, so the steel was now showing to everyone. And Nia Jax used that instantly. And she grabbed Bianca Belair and hit a Samoan drop into Ali the announce table. Now, Alan was like, I ain't breaking, man. I ain't into this. So Jax grabbed Bianca and threw her into Sympathy Still Steps because she was desperate for Bianca to be counted out. Nia then clearly hasn't been watching wrestling in 2024 because she went and posed on the ropes when Bayley just appeared. It's like, where did you come from? She kind of wiggled and jiggled the ropes, meaning Nia's head sort of went into the exposed turnbuckle, but also not. But that doesn't matter, because the point was Bianca Belair had just helped Bayley. It also works with the stipulation because, of course, Bayley isn't officially in the War Games match, and those were the people that were banned. So Belair went to the top, she hit the 450, she got the 1, 2, 3. Now there's more to this as well because, of course, Bayley kind of won over Bianca Belair. They were smiling at each other, but she used the tactics she did last year when she was feuding with Bianca because she essentially cheated. Now I think that's going to go somewhere because in many ways you can say Bayley actually acted like the heel here. It also does mean the good guys have the advantage at the War Games, and usually it works better when it's the other way around. But what I imagine will happen is that the Bloodline War Games will go that direction. So why not do the opposite for the women? I will say the WWE has done a great job in making this one matter though. Like at first it did kind of feel like everyone's been thrown together, but now we've crafted out a nice story, and this match was really good too. I have zero problems with it, my friends. It's getting enough. It's also got me super pumped for the Survivor Series, and we do have one more SmackDown before the weekend. I should have told you too, Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight for the US title is also happening on that show. So maybe I smell some shenanigans. But I am going to give Raw an up for whatever reason. I had a super good time with it, and now it's your turn to tell me what you thought of the show in the comments below. Then you can like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And if you click the video on the screen, you will get my SmackDown thoughts on the return of CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Otherwise, I really do appreciate you, my friends, and genuinely thank you all the support when it does come to my Progress Proteus Championship. I receive so many nice messages, which of course makes me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. I'll see you soon.